You always say work, 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 and never hold darling Jin as your top priority.
I don't think that's the case though, ma'am.
But of course it is, isn't it? Despite what you say, you don't seem too busy, do you?
Well, I have to work overtime at times, so yes, I am actually quite busy, ma'am. And it's because I work that we can give you an allowance, you see?
You say such nonsense when you think you'll just be lazy about and have the audacity not to raise your own child.
And that's how I was complained to every day like this. My name is Rin and I'm 30 years old. I live with my husband, Keita, and our 5-year-old son, Jin. We were living as a family of 3, but due to some circumstances, we decided to live together with my in-laws. We had our problems before, but they got even worse after we started living together, so I'd like to talk about them today. First, let me tell you about when I met Keita. A few years ago,
I hadn't had a girlfriend for a long time, so my friend said he'd introduce me to a girl who didn't have a boyfriend, and I just came because I was curious.
Really? I told her I was fine for now, but, well, in the end, you seemed interested, Mr. Keita, so I came because I was curious too.
She told me that a beautiful woman would be coming, and I was on cloud 9, honestly. A chance to meet a beautiful woman is scarce after all.
Wait, so am I the beautiful woman? I'm sorry that I was the one who came, despite being praised so disproportionately.
Oh, no, I'm glad that you came, Miss Rin. And if I may be so bold, I honestly really like your looks.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to know more about you, Miss Rin. So could we meet again?
I'm glad you say so. I'd love to. After meeting a few times, we found that we got along very well, and we had similar hobbies. So we started thinking about getting together under the assumption of getting married in the end.
Mom, there's someone I want to introduce you to. This is Rin, the one I told you I'd met through a friend. We're thinking about getting married, and so we came to say our greetings.
Nice to meet you, ma'am. My name is Rin. This is nothing special, but...
You're Rin? How do I say this? You don't seem like a very impressive girl.
No. She seems nice and a great match for Keita. Mom, you say way too many rude things. Rin, dear, I'm sorry. I've always wanted a little sister, you see.
Rico, you're too soft on what's to become the future wife of the family. If we don't make her understand from the beginning, it'll be difficult later on.
And what are you on about, Dad? If you're doing that, you won't have any contact with her after she marries Keita.
Yes, that would be a problem.
I intend to marry Rin, and if you don't treat her well, you can kiss my visits goodbye.
That's my little brother right there. If you don't treat the wife well, you'll suffer greatly later on, understand?
My mother-in-law and father-in-law didn't want to acknowledge me, but Keita and my older sister-in-law, Miss Rico, persuaded them very well until they reluctantly gave their blessing. Miss Rico lived alone in the neighborhood and said she came back to her parents' house because she wanted to know what kind of person her younger brother's wife was to be. About 6 months after we got married, I found out I was pregnant.
Mom, Dad, I have some good news for you.
Keita, darling, what's wrong with all that excitement? Oh, wait, you came too, Rin?
Mom, don't say things like that. Rin is thankfully pregnant with our child now.
What? Keita, darling, were you trying to get pregnant?
Is that so? Well, I'm so glad we'll have a grandchild. I'm glad you seem so happy about this.
Rin, dear, whatever you do, you mustn't neglect your housework because of morning sickness or anything like that, okay?
Housework is the woman's job after all. Don't be lazy, eh? She does it well every day, so it's fine. And in the event she doesn't do it, I lecture her properly.
Oh my, aren't you the reliable man, Keita?
I could see that they were not happy about the pregnancy, but more to the point, I wonder if it's normal these days to scold your wife, much like Keita said he was. Since then, I've actually been meeting up with Miss Rico a lot since I got married, and of course, I told her about this little occurrence.
This is amazing! Congratulations! I'm finally an auntie then! If Keita says or does anything insensitive, darling, you come to tell me, okay? I'll give him a good beating.
Thank you, ma'am. It's reassuring to hear you say something like that. After that, a lot happened, to be honest, but with the help of my sister-in-law, I gave birth to my first son, Jin, and we had a party to celebrate the newest family member.
Ren, dear, so you finally come. You're late.
Damn it, woman! If you're a mother, you should take action sooner!
My apologies, Jin was a little fussy before we went out.
No matter. Anyway, I've already bought the ingredients, so go on now. Prepare all the food for the relatives.
What?
Don't wah me, Missy. You're really such a child with no common sense, aren't you? We'll be watching over darling Jin, so you go into the kitchen and prepare the meal. Thank you.
They essentially snatched Jin away from my arms and quickly went to the living room. While I was making the dinner, Miss Rico came and saw me standing in the kitchen. She started yelling at her parents about the situation.
Hey, why are you making Rin make dinner, eh?
Rico, darling, you came. Come on, sit right here next to me. And that's just the custom in this household.
Making a mother stand in such a cold room soon after giving birth is inhumane. Do you want the relatives to see the situation, eh? Everyone will be here soon, see?
Then let's order takeout for now. Want me to pay for it?
More importantly, Kata, your wife is working hard alone in the cold, and you're the only one staying warm and cozy?
But Mom told me to leave Rin to do it all herself.
Look, if you're just going to keep listening to what Mom says, it should come as no surprise if Rin's feelings for you disappear over time, eh?
Come on, Rico, you exaggerate.
Thanks to Miss Rico, I was able to come back into a warm room and show off Jin to the relatives who had gathered. Thank you so much, Miss Rico.
Oh, please, no worries. I'm so sorry, honey. I'm so embarrassed about my parents and that stupid brother of mine. I think of you as my little sister, honey. So seriously, if anything happens, please let me know.
I'd be lying if I said I have no complaints about Kata and his tyrannical parents, but thanks to Miss Rico for supporting me emotionally, I've been able to get by these past few years without too many problems. A few years later, one day, Kata called me in a panic.
Rin, this is terrible!
Hey, what's wrong? My break only just started and I have 50 missed calls from you.
Why the hell didn't you answer right away? Mom fell down, and so I'm at the hospital.
What? She just fell down?
Huh? What do you mean she just fell down, eh? That's cold.
Sorry. It's just that you told me to leave Jin alone when he fell and broke his leg a few months back.
Ain't it normal for a child to fall? Mom is a full-fledged adult. Yeah, and what with her age and whatnot, I feel sorry for her.
I see.
And she looks like she's in a lot of pain, so we'll be taking care of her at home for a while, okay?
What? Why would you decide something so selfish?
Come on now. You and I both know it's hard for her, so please take care of her for a while.
I'm already too busy taking care of Jin, so you do something about it, okay, Kata?
You're really cold, you know that? I'll try to help as much as I can. How about that?
And so began my life living with these abusive parents-in-law of mine. And that was the beginning of the real nightmare.
Hey, there's some trash here.
Hey, bring me some tea, quickly.
Mrs. Sasaki, didn't you just soil that spot yourself? And Mr. Sasaki, if you want tea, please make it yourself. I have work to do and I must be off now.
What? I can't believe this. Your husband's parents are no less than your own parents, woman.
If you can't freaking take care of us, quit that job of yours.
No, if I do that, we won't be able to survive. And by the way, Kata, you said that you should take care of them, eh? Please make your father some tea. I have to take Jin to nursery school now, so I'll be leaving.
You're not good at managing your time, are you? I told you I like to take it easy in the morning.
You have more time than I do, so you do it. Thank you very much.
You're making your hardworking husband slave away at home? How horrible.
The three of them were making a fuss behind me, but I pretended not to notice and left. A while later, I heard from my mother-in-law that she had decided to sell her family home and live with us. To be frank, I felt dizzy when I heard those words. I told Kata, but he went and said things like, "Should be fine, I'm sure they'll take good care of Jin." Everything sounded so condescending. Since it was always my in-laws who organized the family gatherings, people congregated at my house, so I asked Miss Rico to help me survive these ambushes. But unfortunately, there was also a part of me that had gotten used to being treated like a servant. Then, when Jin turned 5 years old, my patience reached its limit.
Hey, money's gone.
Gone, Mrs. Sasaki? Does that mean it was taken?
No, silly. I meant I spent it, and I don't have any more. Ask Kata for me, would you?
No, we don't have any more money to give you.
Huh? What are you talking about? I didn't ask you, bitch.
So let me get this straight. Your allowance is spent, so you want more, am I right?
Enough already and bring me the damn money.
Your allowance comes from my salary, Mrs. Sasaki.
What are you talking about? Someone like you, slow and sluggish all day, every day, doesn't seem to be able to do a job that makes enough to cover my allowance. What a joke.
If you don't want to believe it, by all means. But since I say I'm not giving any more, you can assume that there will be no extra money.
Again, I'm not asking you. Just ask him, all right?
Perhaps she didn't want to believe my words, but she just told me to ask Kata for more money and stormed out of the house. I talked to Kata after he came back, but he told me to at least give her some more pocket money. By that point, I had reached my limit and told him that I wanted to get a divorce. When he realized that I was dead serious about it, he seemed panicked and asked me to, quote, just wait a little longer. So I did. I did wait a little longer. After about a month had passed, Kata called out to me happily.
Sorry this took a while, Rin, but let's move far away.
Huh? What do you mean?
I've been looking for a good place, actually, and I finally found one.
Were you really? I'm so glad you did. But I suppose you told your mother and she won't allow it?
I told her about an hour ago now, and she thought it was a good idea.
Is that so? So we can finally get out of this house?
Yeah, that's right. You better look forward to our new home.
I was so excited when he told me that. I felt so lighthearted that starting the next day, I could ignore my mother-in-law's nasty comments.
Oh, packing right in front of me, are you? Such a nasty person.
There's not much time left until the move, so I should get started while Jin is at nursery school.
You don't have to go, do you? It's not like darling Jin nor Kata needs you around after all.
Need you say that much, Mrs. Sasaki? I'm a wife and a mother after all.
And yet you don't do anything special. Seriously, what did Kata do to deserve having no eyes for women?
Since we started living together, I feel like your attitude towards me has gotten more terrible, ma'am.
I wonder, though. Well, I'm not such a magnanimous person to be kind to people I absolutely despise.
My mother-in-law was snickering sinisterly and saying the nastiest shit known to mankind. I just ignored her. Kata, have you been coming home late lately?
Yeah. I have to take time off to move, so I'm making up for it. I'm working hard at work, Rin. It's annoying when you say things like that.
I'm sorry, but your mother keeps saying nasty things to me every day. It's so tiring.
And that's because you don't respect her. Before relying on me, you should think of something yourself, eh?
Even if you say that.
Oh, I almost forgot. I'm going out drinking this weekend, and I'll probably be staying over. I won't be coming home.
No, that's too sudden. I told you I was going to the hair salon for the first time in a while this weekend, didn't I? I asked you to take care of Jin, so what are you going to do?
Then you freaking take him. I don't care. You're a mother. Don't you dare take it easy.
In this manner, he started coming home late every evening, and he ceased taking care of Jin anymore. But I thought that if we broke free from the clutches of his mother, Kata might go back to being the family-oriented guy he used to be. So I decided to endure it for another while. But on the day we were to move, I would see something unbelievable. Why is your mother here with us?
What? We're going to live together, aren't we?
What? I didn't hear about that.
Why not? We bought a nice penthouse apartment. Why wouldn't we let my parents live with us afterward, I'm not that much of a monster.
Yes, you did say that you bought an apartment, but could you buy an apartment for 2 families to live in? When we arrived at the apartment we were talking about, I couldn't believe my eyes. Wait a minute, this apartment. This is a tower, Kata. What the hell? How could you have bought such a nice house with your salary?
Of course not. It's not my money, silly.
What do you mean? Maybe your father paid for it or something?
There's no way my parents have that kind of money. I bought it in one lump sum from your savings, you see?
Huh?
You really didn't know, did you? You'd saved up all this money behind my back. If you have all this money, you should use it for your family, right?
Kata, without a smidge of remorse, didn't seem sorry and acted like he was oh so amazing because he could leave a fortune for his family.
But it's all because Kata is making a good living that we can live this well. I'm glad I have a good son. If Rin wouldn't be here with us, this would have been the best situation.
Kata bought this apartment?
As expected of my son. He's making a steady income. I just knew Rin's not worthy of being the wife of such a man. It's not too late now. Get out! Now!
Hearing these words, I snapped out of all the patience I had been holding back and decided to leave, taking Jin with me. Jin followed me without saying a word, looking up at me, but when we arrived at the station and stopped, he called out to me.
Mom, are we going to Auntie Rico's place?
Oh, how did you know, sweetheart? I'll contact her right away. I got a reply right away. I thanked her for coming to pick me up at the station, and I've agreed to stay with her for a while. In the meantime, I decided to come up with a plan and spend some time off taking care of a few things.
Hey! You've been away for 2 weeks now! Where have you been? The house hasn't been cleaned, and it's so dirty right now!
What's with this dirty room? It's only been 2 weeks since you moved in, right? What kind of life would you have to live to create such a hellhole, huh?
Hey, more importantly, who's this person?
Could it be her lover? If so, that's horrible. He kidnapped my grandchild and cheated on my son. You ought to demand a lot of alimony and get a divorce.
A woman who can't do housework, childcare, or make money for shit? How dare you get so cocky?
This is my lawyer, people. I have some money to demand from you after all.
Huh? What are you talking about? A lawyer?
It's about the misappropriation of the money you used to buy this house.
Those came from a married couple's savings, didn't they? And it seems that Keita put most of it in.
I'm sorry, but the savings that Keita used were my savings from before I ever knew him.
Huh?
Sachiko, Toshio, damn you all to hell! She'd become Keita's wife for God's sake!
But Rico, why would you take the side of a wife like that?
You wouldn't like if I was bullied as a wife now, would you?
I mean, that's obvious.
Well, her parents think exactly the same way. I wonder how awful you could really be.
Mr. Sasaki, Mrs. Sasaki, I understand your feelings very well now. I will divorce Keita as you wish.
Oh, glory be to heaven! If so, please hurry up and take the luggage lying here, yeah?
Hey, wait a minute. Why are we talking about divorce?
Misappropriating my savings before we got married? Cheating on your wife with a young girl from your workplace? Treating me, the breadwinner of the family and the one who managed the family budget, like an enslaved housekeeper? Well, I'll make sure you pay back the money you used to buy this hellhole, on top of the alimony for your affair! Keita was in a panic when he heard what I said, but when I saw him laughing and saying that it was I who would be in trouble if we got divorced, my feelings for him went from 0 to negative. I wonder who will really be in trouble, bucko. I'm going to take Jin and go back to my parents' house. From now on, please talk to us through this lawyer of ours, understood? And lastly, I decided to put this house up for sale, so please move out within the week, okay?
What? I bought the damn thing, so it's mine. What are you thinking, selling the house without permission?
You are planning to divorce me and bring your darling sweetheart here, and so losing this house would be very painful, wouldn't it?
Why would you?
I went to demand alimony from her yesterday, and she said that if you could get rid of me, she would come live in our house, so she'd cancel the contract for the house. And boy, was she pissed.
No way. Is that why she hasn't messaged me back?
Isn't it because she's scared to contact you because Rin said she told her company if she did? Also, when I asked our relatives to take over the alimony for you, they seem to be furious too. Maybe they'll even invade your house.
What? But that would be a problem. More importantly, looks like we have to move out of here. So can we stay at your place for a while?
Of course not. Seeing how I'm living with Rin and Jin nowadays, my own family did something atrocious, and I'll take responsibility and take her in for a while, and then I'll proceed to cut ties with you pricks.
Rico, you won't abandon me, will you? I'm your mother who raised you with so much care, after all.
I'm your father. Parents have to be taken care of by their children too, you know?
How dare you! You freaking loved Keita and Jin so much more than you ever loved me! I don't want to be known as your daughter anymore! Don't ever get involved with us again!
We don't have much in joint marital property as a couple, so don't get your hopes up. Keita doesn't save any money, and I put my savings into security bonds, so I legally don't have anything to share.
Hey, come on! Hey, listen to me!
Ignoring Keita, we left the house. Since all the money that was used to buy the house was my savings from before we got married, the ownership of the house was transferred to me. After that, I put it up for sale and quickly found a buyer, but it was far from what those goons had spent, so I had them borrow money to pay me back in full. The girl he had an affair with came to apologize after being dragged by her parents, but she was sulky and didn't seem to be feeling remorseful whatsoever. Her parents were different though, and said they were taking her back to the countryside and dragged her back home. Of course, the money she'd make in the countryside would be used to pay for her alimony to me. As for Keita and his demonic parents, the latter didn't know that I really was the breadwinner of the family, and they persistently called me, begging me to come back, but I ignored them and blocked them on everything. After that, according to what Miss Rico told me, they no longer had a place to live, and the three of them were living in a small, rundown, one-room apartment. Apparently, the girl he had been cheating with had exposed the fact that he had been having an affair at his workplace. But he couldn't quit his job because he still had to pay child support and pay back his debts after repaying me the money he misappropriated. He feels extremely small now. As for me, I'm living a peaceful life with Jin and Miss Rico. My work is going well, and I'm scheduled to be promoted soon. I feel sorry for the trouble I've been causing with Jin and Miss Rico, and I'm going to keep working hard to make their lives as happy as I can make them.